Merci, Renaud. This project is funded by the Government of Canada through the Opportunities Fund for Persons with Disabilities. We are very glad that the Federal Minister of Sports and Persons with Disabilities, the Honourable Hehr, is joining this campaign launch from the Ottawa site, organized by LiveWorkPlay. Minister Hehr, please go ahead.
Well, thank you for that kind introduction. I am thrilled to join you all at the offices of LiveWorkPlay here in Ottawa to be part of this very special announcement. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we are gathered here today on the traditional territory of the Algonquin peoples, who have building community here for generation upon generation upon generation upon generation. And we are honored and proud to be sharing this land with them here today. I understand firsthand how disability affects individuals, families, and communities all across Canada. And I know the work we need to do to become a truly more inclusive, more accessible society. While Canada has much to be proud of, we still have lots of work to do when it comes to a fully including people with disabilities in our society. Today, 1 in 7 Canadians report having a disability or exceptionality, and that number will only grow as our population continues to age. My mandate is clear from the Prime Minister. It's to ensure greater inclusion of Canadians with disabilities and to develop new federal accessibility legislation. While the new legislation will get us closer to where we want an accessible Canada to be, we're also taking action now to promote inclusion with people with disabilities. This includes getting more people with disabilities into Canada's workforce. The fact remains that if you have a disability in Canada, you are more likely to be unemployed. Only half of Canadians with disabilities aged 25 to 65 are employed, compared to 80% for the rest of the general population. On top of that, people with disabilities earn 44% less in total income than the general population. This is unacceptable, and I know we can do better. That is why I am honored to be here today for the launch of Hire for Talent campaign, led by Restigouche CBDC and made possible with funding from the Government of Canada Opportunities Fund for Persons with Disabilities. And it coincides with October being National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Through the Hire for Talent campaign, Canadian employers will have free access to a toolkit that will help them discover the corporate and business advantages of hiring people with disabilities. Employers will also gain access to a network of organizations that can help them tap into this pool of talent and recruit, train, and retain people with disabilities. For far too long, people with disabilities have been left on the outside looking in when it comes to finding quality jobs. What some employers may not realize is that the disabled community contains some of the most innovative and creative thinkers Canada has to offer. I can tell you that living with a disability requires a certain amount of thinking outside the box. This kind of thinking is exactly what we need in our labor force today. I encourage employers across Canada to visit HireForTalent.ca, take advantage of this important tool as a resource. Again, thank you to Restigouche CBDC and the 6 groups from across the country that made up the project's National Advisory Committee, as well as the more than 20 partnering organizations that were involved in developing the Hire for Talent campaign. Let's keep working together to make a truly inclusive society and an accessible Canada for all. What a thrill it is being for me to be here with you today. Thank you so much.
Woo-hoo!
Thank you very much, Minister Hehr. Now, we will direct our attention to the screen behind me, where, joining us from sites across the country, are key partners of the Hire for Talent campaign and members of the project's National Advisory Committee, who will each say a few words.
I want to thank you guys for including me in today's exciting announcement. I know you here at LiveWorkPlay, you guys are doing great things, and now this app will allow more of people like us who have disabilities and exceptionalities will find opportunities to get gainful employment and for us to live extraordinary lives. That sound cool, Melissa? Is that your name? Melissa again. There we go. Hey, good to see you, Francis, right? Okay, so let's go, let's have some fun, and let's remember, let's all remember to take care of ourselves, okay? Thank you so much for including me today. See you later, guys. Gotta go back to Parliament Hill. Anything you want me to tell the Prime Minister? You're okay? All right. There we go. Okay. Bye, guys.
We still got our we still have people watching on Facebook, so without further ado, let's see a video.
Wait, should we light up?
Sure. Sure.
I'm Francis, and I work at Dow Honda at the front desk.
Francis has been the happiest employee we have. She was thrilled at the option of sitting at the front desk where she could speak with customers, welcome them to the dealership, and smile all day long. And she's wonderful at what she does.
I'm Stephen Mullins. For this job, I work here from home. The best thing about my job is I do office duties and orders and putting kits together for a project.
Stephen is extremely hard worker. A year and a half in, he is one of the family. The biggest thing I learned about working with Stephen is I look through the disability. I don't see it. Yeah.
I'm Laura. I have a learning disability. I do food prep. That's 2 days a week. It's not that bad.
Laura's great. For her, this is one of the biggest things in her week. She comes to work and she's excited. She comes early. She loves what she does. I know that is just in my heart the right thing to do, is to bring Laura on and to try and be a more inclusive workplace.
It's not something that's in everybody's mainstream thought, unfortunately, and I wish that it were, but it isn't. So until you bring it up and discuss it, I can't tell you how many times I've seen the light bulb go off talking to people. And it's like, wow, I never thought of that before. And I'm the guy that hadn't thought of it before either, until I found out what it was like. And now I'm a champion.
I think one of the greatest barriers facing people with disabilities is that they're not on the radar of most employers. The Hire for Talent toolkit is this really wonderful resource for employers across the country. It contains information from 20 subject matter experts on how to recruit, interview, and retain top talent. It also connects the employer with the community and community resources.
In every community, there are resources that are helping people with disabilities who specifically deal with helping people with disabilities get back into the workforce.
When Stephen started working with us, his job coach was here every single day for probably 2 months, and now is still a resource that's available when we want to expand Stephen's role.
I think that might be a big thing that employers don't realize, that support is never done. With the agencies that we've dealt with here in Moncton, the support has still been ongoing 7 years later.
And instead of trying to search for people, there are agencies like ours that have a pool of people who are ready to go. And so it's really looking at the work that we do as an enhancement to the human resources strategy. I think that's what's happening across the country.
If anyone is hesitant or fearful of hiring someone with a disability, I would just say get to know someone with a disability. What they've had to overcome is amazing. And for them to have a smile on their face and to be as well adjusted as they are, in my experience, is great. So just get to know them.
They're really nice, friendly people. I'm glad to have the opportunity to do the job. It's good.
Pita Pit.
I do good.
But I mean, I really like it working here. And also seeing the shiny cars.
Seeing their success, allowing them to realize their dreams has become really, really rewarding for me. And I would like as many people as possible to experience that, both in different organizations that hire them and for the workers themselves.
One of the things that I've heard from employers is they want to access this talent because they need to. The question is, how do they do it? And that's the great thing about Hire for Talent. It is a compilation of resources for employers. This toolkit is going to help them become more disability confident and help foster a more inclusive workforce.
I'm Melissa, and my job is feeding.
Melissa, she's a great employee. I don't even know if she's ever called in sick once, to be honest with you. And she's just very pleasant, very outgoing, and part of the team, you know.
And she's got a great sense of humor. And I don't think there's anyone that I work with in this restaurant, especially, that talks more about family than she does. I think an inclusive workplace is a workplace that will find the best people for the given task, regardless of their personal situation. You know, the workforce is changing, and we've found great success with people with disabilities where they really take ownership of their role.
Like, I proud of myself for doing my job. I like to be happy all the time and positive.
I am Eddie Sola, and I work at Home Depot. I'm a Canadian Canadian. So I do shop for German biscuits, and right now I'm just competing, training hard for 2020. Next Paralympic Games in Tokyo.
Oh, Eddie's been a wonderful addition to the team. His smile, first and foremost, it lights up the entire store. You can't help but feel happy being around Eddie.
I like talking to people, I like giving, I like sharing, I like just being out there. It's who I am.
He brings a very high level of professionalism with his background, with being an athlete and everything. He brings that professionalism to the workplace every single day.
I thought I wouldn't be working at Home Depot, I wouldn't be having a job because I have a disability, but I look at me now, I'm happy, I'm living the life, and I'm doing well.
My name is Honourable, and I work here at Moving Inspirations. I've had anxiety issues since I was probably about 10 years old. I got married right before I went to law school. I had 3 children, and things just started getting worse. And I went into severe depression. I had an 8-year gap in my employment history, and despite the fact that I have 2 university degrees, I was having a really difficult time finding employment.
When Nicole came to me, she had certainly overcome a lot of hurdles and was restarting her life over again. And I feel like she's found kind of a fit. It's been really amazing transition for me personally and the company. It's been quite humbling. There's often a story that comes with someone with disabilities, and learning to make that work has been a challenge, but in a good way.
I think that if Jennifer hadn't given me a chance, I would probably still be struggling. I definitely feel a lot more confident, and I am definitely a lot more hopeful about my future.
I'm Barry Laurent, and I work at the casino in Denver, and I'm a housekeeper. I'm born with cerebral palsy.
Is he going to freak out? When he was actually born, the doctors told his parents that there was no hope for him, that he would never walk, he would never talk, and he proved them wrong on all counts. So Barry's been here since the beginning. He, personality-wise, Barry is outgoing, funny, and he works full-time. 5 days a week, 8-hour days, and he puts in his honest day's work, and he's definitely loved by the team.
number one thing is the customers welcoming you to appreciate what you do. Because I get a lot of compliments that say how good I do in my job. So I'm very proud.
We give him the same opportunity as anyone else. I mean, there's opportunities to move around, there's opportunities to move up, and I think that makes it successful not just for Barry, but for all of us.
What's in my future is continue working here, raising my son, and take it one day at a time.
One of the things that I've heard from employers is they want to access this talent because they need to. The question is, how do they do it? And that's the great thing about Hire for Talent. It is a compilation of resources for employers. This toolkit is going to help them become more disability confident and help foster a more inclusive workforce.
One more.
I did a lot of interviews, and instantly they would be leery of the fact that I had mental health issues. I did a lot of interviews, and instantly they would be leery of the fact that I had mental health issues, and they just weren't willing to give me a chance.
Coming into an interview situation, it was nerve-wracking as well because it's, what are they thinking, you know, can I handle this job and stuff?
The interview went great until I mentioned the disability, and then you could tell the tone kind of went down. He's like, yeah, we'll give you a call.
Depending what their disability is, potentially you may ask, do you think you can handle lifting this? Can you handle working this many hours in a week? But I really just treat it like it's any other interview because I'm hiring you to do the same job.
We ask them a lot of times if they've had other jobs, we ask them the same questions as we would anyone else. What they liked about their past job, what they didn't like, why they want to work here. Unless they want to talk about it, we don't discuss their disability at all.
Of course, the interview is a little more tailored. Of course, sometimes we get some really honest answers, which is fine. But yeah, the interview process doesn't really change a whole lot other than accommodating a little bit.
I always ask that question, you know, is there something that I don't know or I'm not aware of that may prohibit you from being able to do your job to the fullest? A lot of people think right away, if I share this, I have this disability, they're not going to want me, they're not going to want to hire me, I'm going to hide it. And then often that breaks down in the workplace shortly after. So I think really needing to put yourself out there as the employer that you can be approached.
Frances came in with a resume like everybody else, sat and we talked about how she could do the job. Was there anything specific that she needed help with in order to be successful at the job? And she more or less said, I can do everything. I can do this, no problem. When can I start?
Anybody that's a profitable business that has multiple employees, you can hire somebody with a disability to help out somewhere. Some people have been working with us for many years, which is why I'm sitting here. I want to tell other people how successful it is and how good it is for the community and the rest of the staff in general.
I think you need a targeted hiring and recruitment plan to get started. And how does it start? It starts right from the top. You need the head of the company, the CEO, the president, and the senior executives to be able to say, this is a priority for us.
We're not afraid to hire anybody, you know, we give people chances, and that's what Corey was looking for, and we gave him that chance, and we haven't been disappointed with him. I think it's been a great success. He was here on a trial run, and we actually decided to keep him, and he loves working here, so that's a plus.
One of the things that I've heard from employers is they want to access this talent because they need to. The question is, how do they do it? And that's the great thing about Hire for Talent. It is a compilation of resources for employers. This toolkit is going to help them become more disability confident and help foster a more inclusive workforce.